Hello, everybody. Welcome to Thursday Night Live with Bill Tucci.
Behold his mighty hand.
Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang, Tucci gang.
Just want to manage expectations.
Weird.
This is the worst.
Ding goes the bell, bro.
I don't.
Tucci.
Fuck.
Fucking damn bell. Come on. What's
Sorry.
up, bro? What's up with the reflexes tonight?
Bro, strange, man. Strange. And I apologize to all 7 people watching.
That's right.
I had a we have the Motor City Comic Con tomorrow, so I have to get up at 6 a.m. I haven't even washed any of my clothes or found them what I'm going to wear, and we're trying to pack for the con, and I'm
Just for
signing
breeze them?
books.
Just for breeze those clothes, throw them in the dryer,
No.
and on
I
your
gotta-
way,
I gotta-
bro.
yeah, sucks.
Come on.
Find
come
out what
on.
I'm wearing and stuff. But hello everybody. Good to see you guys out there. Al Nickerson, you didn't miss anything. I had some computer problems and I was running late because my wife had me signing a bunch of metal editions, which came out stunning, actually. But what are you gonna do?
Hey, Bill, you see this right
and
here?
just got some good news though. What's that?
Huh?
Oh, what do you
See
got
that?
there?
What is that?
Hey,
What is that beautiful book right there?
Oh,
30th
well,
anniversary
you got-
art edition.
you got your art edition? Well, heck
did.
yeah, man. We're going to close this campaign, I believe, out on Monday on the Kings. So our She 30th Anniversary Original Art Edition is now in demand. I just made another shipment out today of a couple of hundred books. Our T-shirts, we're waiting on our T-shirts. We had some weird news that it would take 5 to 6 weeks to get our damn T-shirts in.
Are you serious?
Yeah, so we've been talking to the St. Clair guys, and I think with Todd, we'll just pay him a design fee and have it done with our guys, our people over here. Because that's what's kind of holding everything up is the T-shirts. We've been waiting on these T-shirts, and who knows what's going on with that stuff. But what are you gonna do, right? But thank you guys. We've crossed $45,000. Thank God. This is not our worst Indiegogo ever, due to the 3 or 4 people that pledged yesterday, because it was. And thanks for all the support. Really proud of this book. It's beautiful. Nice hardcover. And Vaughn Coleman, one of our guests, found a little mistake in the dust jacket. A little typo.
A little typo.
Yeah, an inexcusable typo of the 5 editors I have working on this book. But that's
Someone's
another time.
hired.
Yeah. So only those who order this book right here, because you can get it in comic shops. But you're going to pay $65, and you're not going to get the sewn-in satin bookmark ribbon, nor the typo on the dust jacket cover. But thank you all for supporting us. The Armenian Knight, Ara Galanian, good to see you, buddy. Sanchez, my brother. I think I saw the great Dan Jennifer.
Nickerson.
What's that?
Cigar gangsters in the house.
Gangs. That's another thing. I had to pick out cigars tonight. To bring. I'm going to meet up with 3 of my other Army buddies, their wives this weekend, and John Malin. John's going to come out to dinner with us. We're going to go to a steakhouse.
Nice. Have you ever been to Motor City Comic Con?
Yes, I have. A lot of them. I haven't been there in like 5 years though. So,
nice.
But you know what? It's getting late. I'm late. We got one of our guests, the great Mike Barron, is here. Of course, the great Chris Brawley.
Chris Brawley, not Braley. Brawley, people.
Brawley,
Stop
man.
saying
Brawley.
Braley.
One of the smartest men in comics. And of course, the indefatigable Vaughn Coleman. But Nile, if you want to bring him in, and everyone out there, thank you for supporting this campaign. If you want to get it, this is the last weekend to pick it up. So thank you.
Gentlemen,
what's up, guys?
Billy. So I've got 2 of these She hardcovers, the Senryaku.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I've got the original Volume 1 omnibus. This is different, though, right? This is not one of
This is
those.
completely different. Yeah, a lot of people think that it's the same thing. This is our original art edition. So what this book has is it's all the stages of development. You got your pencils, your inks, your colors, then your letters, all because it was hand painted. This book was hand painted. So
this is the process book. This is just
getting
in.
Process book, yeah. And we have the complete remastered of the first issue. I own all the art files, so we rescanned them all in. Punched it all up, did all that cool stuff that only digital stuff can do today. And then we got those cool sections like old Scalawags has here. Hang on, I'm gonna go big on them. Scala. So you'll see, you see the pencils and inks, and then you see the original after the comic. You see the original. Fully beautifully painted colors by Barry Orkin. Put a lot of work into this. I never thought I was ever going to do another comic book ever again, but nothing was going to stop me from making a comic. I'll tell you, in the first place.
Have you ever thought about doing single issues again? I mean,
we're coming back. I don't know. You're doing this yet, Mike Barron? We are back in comic shops this month. Starting this month, and then come August, I think it's August, we release She Return of the Warrior #1, which if you guys remember the Return of the Warrior from 4 years ago, but they've been broken up into floppies.
That's awesome.
So
That's
nice. Yeah, dude, I got 9 issues in the can already, ready to go.
That's awesome. That's amazing.
Wow. So we'll see how it goes. Diamond's been very good to us. Diamond is very open. They know who we are. They know who I am. And they're all for it. They're all for having us be back in comic shops. And we got orders for the Senryaku book that were great. We got orders for those are shipping out. I think Monday. I think they're shipping out Monday or Tuesday. Tuesday they'll ship out Tuesday. I got to call FedEx and have them come in, and and then we hit with that book right here that you can get. Will be in comic shops in a few weeks. The original art edition, but again, it's $15 more. You don't have the satin sewn in bookmark ribbon, and Vaughn Coleman, not the mistake, not the typo.
No, I don't know. Yeah,
it's a collector's edition with the typo.
Collector's edition.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah,
we fucked up, Mike Barron.
Hey, listen, when they put out Florida Man, the first one, Mike, you remember issue #2?
I know.
Had issue #1 on it. I mean,
there are 2 issue #1s.
Yeah.
So the issue #1 that was actually #2 skyrocketed in value. It's now worth $10,000.
Go get it now.
And that's going to be on Mike Barron's campaign. He's just going to add it right now. That's here.
That's right. I will give a free issue of Florida Man #1, which is actually #2 for everyone who backs Nexus Scourge.
Excellent.
Nice. Awesome.
Well, let's pull up Mike's campaign.
Well, speaking of Nexus, though, we have a bit of a controversy.
What?
We just learned.
Wait a minute.
The free comic book day cover, Mike didn't even know about.
That's right. That's the second time I've seen it because Chris has held it up to the camera.
Wait, you didn't know about this?
No.
Blasphemy.
I like how we promised that at least it's not a crossover in there.
I don't mind a crossover with Santa Claus.
So is that your deal, Mike, with Steve, that you guys can do what you want with your character?
Yes.
That's cool, man. That's very diplomatic.
And to be fair, Steve could have given approval for that. Who knows?
Oh, I'm sure Steve had to. He wouldn't have just used.
Well, listen, anybody draws Nexus, I'm flattered. They don't have to seek my permission. I'm delighted when I see it.
Well, I got to tell you, I don't know what part of the actual physical design look of the character, but I got to say it is one of the most elegant and powerful comic book character designs ever.
Oh, I love him.
Yeah, Nexus
always has been just incredible.
Yeah, I remember first, like, because I didn't grow up with that character. When I first saw the design, it's a design that you instantly recognize. I also get increasingly scared because I have a character with lightning powers, and I'm like, oh my god, all the lightning symbols. People need to keep coming with new variations.
I'm putting out a book of superheroes that have been created by lightning or wear lightning on their costume.
Oh well, I got another one for you, Mike.
The coffee table book.
Brand new one. Yeah, seriously.
It's an audio book, actually. I think.
It's an audio book. It's just lightning sounds. That's all. But
Wow.
yeah, so you've got your campaign up. You got it up on 3 sites. So you got up here on Indiegogo, which you have a 406 backers on right now.
We are within shouting distance of the next stretch goal, which is 50 Gs. And if we reach it, then we'll go ahead with Nexus Origin Remastered, which is the first 3 black and white issues colored by Kelsey.
Awesome. You just got another backer on the Kickstarter here.
Great.
You got your Kickstarter, you got 387 backers, and then you even got it on Fund My Comic, you got 113 backers.
So you're on so Mike, you're on Kickstarter, Indiegogo, and Fund My Comic?
Yes, sir.
Now, who's running it? Chris, are you running this? Is it driving crazy or what? Like, what?
No, he's on
3 platforms because
Mike doesn't know. It does drive me crazy. It's a pain in the ass.
Yeah. My wife wants to kill me for putting ours on both Kickstarter and Indiegogo, but our Kickstarters have been bigger than our Indiegogos, especially this last campaign.
There's a huge audience on Kickstarter.
Yep.
A huge audience.
Huge. It dwarfs the other one. I mean, to the point where everyone just says, like, I was on a stream and they're like, "Oh, where's your Kickstarter?" And I'll be like, something else. It's just the term they use for everything.
Well, yeah, it's ubiquitous. It's kind of like, refrigerator used to be a brand name.
Or Google. I didn't know refrigerator was a brand name.
The if you go to baroncomics.com, all 3 of them are there. So people are just picking whatever. With all these platforms, I love Fund My Comic. We love Luke Stone. We love what he's doing.
Yeah.
If you go exclusively with him, I think they give you an even cheaper transaction fee per transaction, which is cool because he's trying to grow that platform. But he's a good, honest guy. He's God-fearing fella. And he's
good artist too.
Himself. And he's a good artist. Yeah, he's a creator himself. So he really understands it. And what I like about Luke is you try to reach out to Kickstarter, good luck. You will eventually hear from some person named Rainbow Bright or whatever. Same thing at Indiegogo.
Rainbow Bright.
You know what I mean. I mean,
I do, dude.
unicorn, farts, whatever. And the only campaigns that they love at Kickstarter are generally campaigns that don't align with my values. I'll just leave it at that. But Mike's got a big contingency, and that's the only platform Steve Rude uses. We were thrilled. Mike mentioned Steve Rude, another great creator who's in comic shops this month with his Battle for Thune World. Mike's probably got a copy right there. So Mike was plugging it the other day on the last update, and they're like, "Oh man, this is so great! I'm backing you guys. I'm backing Steve Rude." And because I mean, Billy, you know this. It's all about the art. I mean, the art's got to be good. It's a visual medium. Oh yeah,
100%. Oh yeah, and you can't. Oh, my God.
Yeah, it's freaking Steve.
Wow,
Rude.
Gorgeous.
Two completely different styles with Nexus from Kelsey.
Yeah.
And with Steve, but both phenomenal. I'd love to see a crossover, Nexus Squared crossover.
There you go. Yeah,
that is never going to happen.
All Nexuses with a little apostrophe after the S.
For anybody who's not familiar with the character, he's a reluctant executioner of mass murderers 500 years in the future, and we've been building the world for over 40 years. So the world of Nexus is sprawling and detailed and multivariegated. But this new story, Scourge, is about the ultimate evil, something I never reached for before. Because, you try to outdo yourself with each new story. And I ask myself, what is possibly left? He's executed mass murderers of thousands and millions. Well, it has to do with an evil that predates civilization, that in fact predates the Big Bang. It's billions of years old, and it was fine as long as there was no life anywhere else. But once life started to appear and civilizations started to be born, they bothered this entity to the point where it had to seek out every civilization and wipe it out. And it starts at the edge of the galaxy to work its way in. And of course, it could take 1 million years for information from the edge of the galaxy to reach the center, unless you're a telepath. Telepaths are the only means of instant communication between stars in the future. And so, when word gets to Nexus, he realizes that it's coming for Ilum eventually.
Now, Mike, I've never had a chance to talk to you about Nexus before. And like you said, you had 40 years of world building with this character. But I had never heard, what was the inspiration for you guys to even create Nexus?
Well, we were in the right place at the right time. I just met the dude, and his art blew me away. And in our hometown of Madison, Capital City Distribution, the second largest distributor of comic books in the world at the time, a multi-million-dollar company with franchises in a dozen countries, decided to publish their own comic. And Milton Greep, who was our first publisher and is still a very good friend of mine, said,
Great guy.
we want a costume superhero. So I went home and I brainstormed. And the first thing I thought of was, what would make him dramatic? Well, it would be dramatic if every time he showed up, somebody died. And that's hardly a new or a fresh look at entertainment. And it's the reason that police and science fiction and law and legal shows have dominated popular culture for the last half century. But I didn't want to make him a villain. I wanted to make him sympathetic. So I made him a reluctant executioner of mass murderers. And he chooses them because he dreams of them. When the dreams come, he relives the situations of their crimes very personally, and it hurts him. And when he wakes, he knows he has to seek them out and destroy them, or the dreams will recur more and more intensely until they drive him mad.
Holy shit.
That is so awesome. I love it.
Oh,
Let's
that's
check out.
cool, yeah.
Chris, how did you guys hook up? How did this wonderful cornucopia of brilliance?
It was one night at an airport bar.
It's a bromance. It's a bromance for the
How did
ages.
this bromance begin?
Mike's a reader of Bleeding Fool. And back in 2020 or maybe 2019, he sent a couple of messages here and again. And one of those messages, he shared me Todd Mulrooney's cover art for the novel, for the book. Mike had originally, and Mike, correct me if I'm wrong, but Mike had originally worked up sort of a pitch to Dark Horse for Florida Man.
Well, I wasn't sure who was going to go to, but after I had written 5 complete scripts, I realized I had the very detailed outline for a novel, and all I had to do was write it. So I wrote it, and I submitted it to Wolfpack, my regular publisher. They're also Chuck Dixon's publisher.
Yep.
And I said, you know anybody who would take this? Because they deal in men's adventure books and Westerns. They don't do humor. And Mike Bray, the publisher, read it and said, we'll take it.
Yeah.
And
He's done 3 of them. But the cover art was colored by Brett Smith. It was drawn by Todd Mulrooney. It was iconic. And I said to Mike, I said, when's this coming out? He goes, well, it's a novel right now. He goes, I'd like to do it as a comic, but it's a funny book. It's not superheroes. It's not horror.
It's really funny.
It's not, girls with tight suits and big jugs. And
Well-
I said, well, Crystal, the ex-stripper or whatever, whatever. If you've seen the comic, you've seen the comic and you laughed out loud.
Yeah.
But I said, why don't you crowdfund it? Because that was starting to become sort of a thing that comics have been doing for the last, 6-7 years.
Sure.
And he said, how about you help me crowdfund it? And I've loved comics. Ever since I had my first Harvey comic, Casper the Friendly Ghost, you name it. And man, I said, sure, let's give it a shot. And we did great. We raised about, what did we do, Mike? About 35 or something.
35, yeah. It was a good start. It was worth our effort, and so we were hooked. And I'm just lucky. I'm just lucky that Chris threw his lot in with me, because Chris is a genius. He's responsible for the videos. Chris is a professional videographer, which is why our videos are the best that any comic crowdfunder has ever seen.
Mike works for my marketing company.
Really
He's my marketing department.
Well, this would be a good time to show the video.
I was just going to segue to it.
Yeah, good.
There we go.
Segue.
An ancient evil, billions of years old, wages war on the universe. Entire star systems are vanishing without a trace, leaving devastation in their wake. Nexus, the intergalactic guardian of lost souls, must stop the unnameable terror and its expanding scourge of destruction. The totality of everything in existence will collapse upon itself if he fails. With the fate of the cosmos in the balance, Nexus must confront his most dangerous adversary yet. Can he save creation from total and certain destruction, or will darkness reign supreme? Find out in Nexus Scourge, the all-new epic sci-fi adventure from Eisner-winning co-creator Mike Barron, exploding with Kelsey Shannon's dynamic artwork. Order at Indiegogo.com.
It just gives me goosebumps.
It's great stuff, man.
It's so cool. And that ending animation that Kelsey did is great too.
I'm so lucky to have stumbled onto Kelsey as well, because I think that he's ideally suited for the character. And once people see this book, they're going to be hooked. And I have to say that I design each story to be entertaining in and of itself, to be complete in and of itself. You don't need to know 40 years of continuity to enjoy this story.
Yeah. You know, it's like when you've picked up your first Marvel or DC comic, you didn't have to have been reading it from issue number 1.
Yeah.
It just might get you right in. And what I like about Kelsey's artwork, you know, that cover is painted, right? So it's cool, and it's got sort of a skull face in the black goo that's taking over the universe. But the artwork inside is so... I don't know if any of you guys have ever seen Steve Rude commissioned a cartoon, like a Hanna-Barbera reel. It's out there. We're going to share it on the next campaign, but it's basically looks like Hanna-Barbera Space Ghost characters. And I don't think Steve ever quite captured that sort of look in the comics, but I know that he loved Hanna-Barbera. And I think Kelsey actually channels that for this work. You know, I mean, Kelsey, he's just a great artist, a great colorist. He's doing all the colors, doing all the...
Look at that panel right there, the lower right hand.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, that's unique to him. It's so simple, but it's so powerful.
Yeah.
It's just brilliant. My God.
Kelsey's
It's
he's
the
really
spiral
good.
staircase.
It's phenomenal.
Kind of redesigned the ship, Mike, a little bit too. Yeah.
Mhm.
But it looks great.
I definitely picked up on that influence you were talking about, Chris, like getting that Space Ghost vibe. I definitely picked up when I first saw this. That's kind of what I was feeling.
Yeah, it's got a real cartoon look, but what's nuts about it is you've got Steve Rude and of course Kelsey channeling it, that has sort of this Hanna-Barbera affect that they want to imbue the artwork with, and Mike is dealing with serious freaking issues, except, you know, as you're reading it, because of course I've read the whole thing, and it's intense, and then all of a sudden there's this moment of absolute whimsy. You know, it's just like I needed a breather. It's kind of like when the roller coaster goes flat and starts going around the curve, you know, before it goes down the next big hill. It's really it's a fun story. I know Nexus fans are going to love it, and I think I was not a Nexus fan. I had no idea what Nexus. I mean, I'd heard of it, right? But then when Mike said, look, we're going to do this, and this actually, what's awesome about this, Dark Horse was set to publish this in March. And Dark Horse, and I'm not talking out of turn, and if I am, Mike, just stop me, but Dark Horse canceled about 40 titles just as they had done their Mark Millar deal. Right. I think they paid a lot for Millar, the Miller verse. I don't know how you say it. Is it Miller?
Miller. It's Miller.
Millar World?
Miller.
Is it Miller?
It's Miller.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm going to go with that. I'm going to trust you guys. And they just said, Mike, we're going to put a pause on this. And if you want to go run with it, you've got my blessing. And Mike Richardson, God bless him, one of the great people in comics. It was actually Mike Richardson. I know Mike won't say this, but Mike Richardson actually purchased the Nexus copyright, trademark, everything.
I say it every chance I get. The only reason Steve Rude and I control Nexus is because Mike Richardson returned the copyright and trademark to us.
Bought it and gave it to the creators.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
What a good
guy, man. Yep.
Really, I mean, he's one of the good guys, you know, even though he's up in Portland.
Well,
he doesn't go into Portland.
I don't know. I've had dinner with him. I went to go see some hockey games, and I went to see a basketball game with him. And I don't know, man. I think he's in line with a lot of how we kind of lean.
He aligns with my values.
Yeah,
and I like the cut of his jib, and he was just up front with us and told us what the deal was. And that's what was so great about this whole project is this project is kind of funding the next Nexus project, which Mike is gonna do. The original first 3 issues when Nexus debuted were in black and white. They were magazine, like the old Savage Sword. Mike's probably got a copy.
I'm sorry, Chris. Can you scroll back now? What is going on with this? This is unbelievable.
Mike.
That's Head World. In one of the very early issues, Nexus intercepted a slaver named Clausius, who had discovered that if he took intelligent beings and separated the heads from the bodies and kept the heads alive and hooked them up in sequence like batteries, that they could generate powerful telepathy and telekinesis. And because they were at his mercy, because he controlled the electrical flow and whether they could survive or not, they did what he said until Nexus freed them. And once Nexus freed them, they became extremely grateful to Horatio, and they set up their own world called Head World, and that's what we're looking at. And the Heads are an independent nation that hires out for huge jobs the size of moving planets or creating planets, because if they get 10,000 of these heads all working together, they can literally move worlds. Yep. However, they have also been able to clone their own bodies. So when they want to walk the earth or the space as the creatures they were, they simply clone the body, grow it, attach the head to the body, and do whatever they like. But when they're in that form, they can't generate the telepathy or the telekinesis. They can only do that when they're separated from the bodies.
How large is that?
That's that planet?
Yeah, that head.
It's big.
Yeah, it's like a Death Star size.
Wow.
Oh, cool.
Dude. Oh my God.
Well, that's the thing. It's like everything Mike says, he's got the entire backstory on it. But if it goes over your head, it's like, damn, that looks cool.
40 years.
Yes.
Yeah.
40 years of Nexus.
Yeah, the floating heads have been around since the early issues. Yeah, Mike?
Wow.
Yes.
Stunning, Mike. Just stunning.
Hey, Mike, now that you're approaching your $50,000 stretch goal, tell us a bit about that reward.
Well, we're going to offer the original 3 black and white issues, which were oversized. They're bigger than a comic. Dude illustrated them, but Kelsey Shannon is going to color them. And the effect is stunning. You won't believe it. And I stand by those books. I'm very proud of them. They hold up well today, I think. And people who aren't familiar with the title will want to pick them up just to see how it all began. Dude's art is all fully formed there. He becomes much more sophisticated within the space of about 10 issues. But everything he had to offer is right there in the first 3 issues.
Yeah. Well, it says here at your $50,000 stretch goal, all backers invited to participate in a live reading and Q&A with the creative team.
Yeah,
I
that's
would be
something.
happy to.
Yeah, that's what I set up, Niles. That's just a stretch goal to have fun and go through the book. Everyone who's backed the book will be invited to get on Zoom or whatever platform we wind up using. And we're going to go through the book and let Mike and Kelsey talk about what they were thinking and talk about the story. And I think it'll be a real treat for backers.
Yeah. Nice intimate session.
It might even go over an hour.
It will go over an hour. We'll do it early in the day. I think we're going to do it about 4:00, right after Morrison's opens up the cafeteria.
Yeah.
And I'm just kidding, Mike.
You mean 4 a.m.? I can do that.
4 a.m. Okay. That's what time he gets up. But it was also that milestone that, like what Mike's talking about, those first 3 issues have never been in color. They've always been black and white. And one of the biggest insulted feelings I ever had was, just as an aside, everybody here's a fan of Neil Adams, I imagine.
Yeah.
Particularly his Batman run.
Yeah, sure.
So I picked up his omnibus, though, and was just completely devastated when I saw that he had recolored all of the Batman issues. And he had redone it with 90s style shading and garish colors. And I won't even open the book anymore. I can't stand it. So what Kelsey's doing is he's doing it of the era when the books came out. So
That's
everything
awesome.
that came along in color, it looks just like it. Mike shared an image the other day of one of the test pages. It just looks great. So we're just hoping that we hit 50 on this so we can get started on that. And we're real close. We're real close.
Yeah. How close you guys is this, like, with this book being complete and like to fulfill?
Oh, the book is ready to go to the printer.
It's already gone to the printer. We're
It's
just in the
gone
queue.
to the printer.
We're in the queue.
Nice.
We hope to ship it out in July. That's the plan.
That's the way to do it.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Well,
That's
thanks,
awesome.
guys.
And you said you're working on a follow-up issue to this?
There's
Well,
a triplets. Well, go ahead.
Yeah, that's another graphic novel that Kelsey is working on. He actually completed the first 22 pages, and they're stunning. And I have a limited number for people who are interested, but the story is 66 pages long. It's about three triplets with perfect telepathic meld, and it's about how they're kidnapped, and each one is sent to a different world, light years separated from one another, so that they can instantly transmit figures, money markets, the price of wheat or whatever, to the central clearinghouse on Earth and get a jump on their competitors. So Nexus has to track them down one by one from world to world to world. Richard Meyer originally commissioned this job, and he said, it would be nice if it had a little bit of the flavor of the Western. Well, when you see that first issue that Kelsey illustrated that's been published and printed, you're going to say, yeah, this is Nexus in the Old West, and it works beautifully.
It's almost like the Mandalorian story with Grogu, and Mike's never even seen it, but Nexus is out hunting down these triplets, and they're little. I mean, they're little kids. The triplets are with the telekinetic powers.
Yeah, I'm burrowing for the issue now. If I dive,
You guys know your boy Zach. It was included as a 22-page floppy, the first act, back in 2022 when he did his Impossible Stars, and it was always intended to be a 3-arc or 3-issue series. And after Mike's Thin Blue Line did 6 figures, Richard was like, Mike, just you guys finish this and do it. You're doing as good as I am. And so now we've got that. The first half of that project's done, but we're not going to do that till what, Mike, December or the end of the year. We're going to do this.
It's likely it'll appear next year because Kelsey's got a lot of work on his hands.
He does.
And we're considering breaking the Nexus run up with a project that is also completed that's going to blow your mind. Should I tell him what it is?
Yes, Richard Bonk.
I think so.
Yeah, Richard Bonk's your
Let's hear
artist.
it.
Sherlock Holmes versus Captain Nemo.
Yeah.
Wow,
Nice.
It's a freaking steampunk adventure. It looks beautiful. Richard Bonk's already completely drawn and inked it. And he's probably sitting back going, when are you guys going to launch this thing?
Yeah, that's awesome.
You don't want to cannibalize. I mean, at least in the crowdfunding realm, it feels like you just don't want to cannibalize your audience. They can only afford so much.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we can only do so many crowdfunders a year.
Yeah, it's just too confusing. I mean, I know you know it, Billy. I know your wife knows it. It's like, how many of these things can you run simultaneously and back to back to back? It gets overwhelming, especially if you're going to the conventions and you're doing other stuff. It's a lot.
Yeah, 100%.
Ta-da!
Oh, there it is. Yeah, that was the first issue of it. Yeah.
Ooh, wow.
Open it up, Mike.
Yeah, let's see big. Let's see it big, bro.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, it's great. It's just
I love that coloring style.
Listen, if you can get Kelsey to do your
That's too
coloring,
much.
he ain't cheap, but he's good.
Well, apparently he's
You guys are
busy.
great.
No,
You guys
leave
are a great
Kelsey
team.
alone.
Yeah.
He is busy and he's running
Yeah,
behind.
leave Kelsey alone because Mike needs him.
Yeah.
Hey, Mike, Mike, I also
Hold
like
the
your
mustard.
backdrop there. Are those banners, like convention banners?
You can thank Chris for that.
It looks great.
Chris sent them to me, put them together, and he sent them to me.
Well done.
I told him, I said, Mike, you got to quit letting the dogs and the messy.
Yeah, because if those banners weren't there, you'd see the hovel in which I live. Slovenliness.
I said, you got to look at Niles's backdrop. We got to do better than Niles. So a couple of banners.
It's Nile, Chris. Nile.
Oh, oops.
There's miles of
Chris
Nile.
Braley, by the way. Chris Braley.
Chris Braley, it's Nile.
Now everyone.
Hey, Chris, are you going to San Diego Comic-Con this year?
I didn't get an invite.
Yeah, no one does.
Nah.
Yeah, you got to pay your way there.
You got to pay your
No,
way there,
I'm
man.
going to Panama City Beach. So
Oh, there you go.
yeah, I got all kinds of stuff planned. I do need to go to conventions. You're going to Motor City, right?
Yeah.
What else have you got on your calendar, Billy?
I'm where I gotta go. Shit, it stressed me out now.
Did you do Heroes Con?
Yeah, I'm doing Heroes. I'm doing Heroes.
What
So
about
I'm doing Heroes
Terrificon?
next? After Heroes, San Diego Comic-Con.
Oh yeah, I think I'm.
After San Diego, I'm doing Baltimore. After Baltimore, I'm doing a one-day show up in Massachusetts. My buddy Randy's show. No, up in Nashua, New Hampshire, which is just kind of a fun hangout.
Terrificon before Baltimore, right?
Yes, and we have Terrificon, then Baltimore.
Oh, you are doing Terrificon now?
Yeah,
because you said you weren't before.
No, I said I was.
Okay.
I always said I was doing Terrificon.
No,
I'm not
you
doing
didn't.
it.
You
No,
told
you
me you
didn't.
were. All right.
No, you didn't.
Well, we didn't get the invite, man. So how do I
Yeah,
know?
but I'm gonna do it now, though.
I can only go where I'm invited.
I'm gonna definitely.
Mike, are you doing Terrificon?
No,
Right.
I'd like to. I put my name in. He said, "Sorry, Mike, they're all taken. Maybe next year."
Oh man,
Mike, you're doing Denver Con
I'm
next.
doing
aren't you?
Denver Con, but that's because Eric July bought a booth there and he wants us all there. And my book will be
Rip-a-verse.
out.
Yeah.
Nice.
Billy,
Chris,
we got to
where are you
hook
gonna
up.
be?
Billy, we got to hook up at a convention.
Yeah, well, where are you? You have any plans for any shows?
I'm below the Mason-Dixon line, and I don't hear you going below the Mason-Dixon line at all.
I'm going to Charlotte, NC.
When
I
is
think Vaughn
that?
Coleman's going to Charlotte,
yeah,
right? Vaughn?
Heroes Con.
Is that in Charlotte?
Yeah, Charlotte's Father's Day weekend.
Oh no, I got an event with my men's ministry that Friday night. I can't do it. Andy
Oh,
Tom.
What
Do you
about
know Andy
Saturday?
Tom?
What?
Billy? Andy Tom, do you know him?
I don't know. Andy Tom. I don't think so.
He
Two
hung
first
out with you
names?
at the last Heroes Con and
Oh,
was
then maybe I
texting
just
me
knew him as
stuff.
Andy. I'm sure if I see him, I don't know everyone's last name.
He used to do that podcast with Chris Partial of the Collected Editions podcast for like 15 years. I know you know him.
Yeah,
But
then
he's
I
been
have
inviting
to.
me to come out to Heroes Con, and I just can't do it this year.
Well, what about Saturday? Like, how
I don't
far are you from there?
I'm in Tennessee, not far.
Oh, yeah. I don't know how far. Yeah,
It's
you
about a
might be.
5-hour drive,
Yeah, well, you know.
maybe. Yeah, no
Well, are you
promise.
flying or are you driving?
I would be driving.
To North Carolina.
Yeah.
Me? I would be flying. I'm gonna
Oh,
be
you're
flying.
flying? Okay. I drove it once in 90, my first one. And I'm like, never again. I'm like, what am
Yeah,
I-
yeah, that's it. Because I asked you, and you were like, "Hell no, I'm not." I was like, "All right, I guess I'm
Yeah, no.
flying."
It's a 5-hour drive from here, and flying there would take just as long, getting in line at the airport, parking, and all that BS. So
Yeah, and if you don't have a direct flight and all that jazz.
Yeah.
What is it, like 10 hours for us, Billy? 10, 12-hour drive?
If we would drive,
Yeah.
probably, yeah, I'd say
Yeah,
10,
yeah.
10 hours.
Do you have a
Florida?
booth? Are you in a booth?
Yeah, I have my booth. Yep.
All right, I might. Just leave it there.
5 hours. Come on.
Yeah,
We're
it's
all
5
gonna hang out.
hours.
We have we're gonna have a little cigar night,
Oh man, you speaking my language.
yeah.
little
Speaking
whiskey,
my
little
language.
bourbon.
Speaking my language.
Vaughn's got
Scotch,
the next
bourbon, you
cigar
name it.
store
Yeah.
For now, we've totally Nile and I have totally corrupted them.
If we get together, I'll have a drink.
Bourbons, whiskey,
Oh,
cigars.
right, Mike. I
I
like
just
that.
told
Oh, yeah.
Vaughn he needs to cut back on the drinking. Every time I see him,
Vaughn's
he's
got to cut
drinking.
back on the drinking. Yeah, Vaughn's got to.
I haven't had a drink
What
in
are you
years.
talking about?
Mike's sober.
I know. I would
Mike
love
doesn't
to
need
have a drink.
alcohol.
Well, I do need alcohol. I just have been depriving myself.
Yeah. Well, Mike, we have our, you got Fraga there, so I think you and he will be. You guys can when we get
No, I'll
together.
have a drink. I can make exceptions. I miss it. I love a good drink. I love the feel of bourbon, the taste.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, bourbon's good.
Just
These
get
guys
a
got me in
Hawaiian
bourbon.
shirt.
First,
Use
now.
Graham.
Couldn't we see Mike with a custom-made Hawaiian shirt, but with Nexus's head on?
Oh, have I got
Yeah.
Hawaiian shirts too?
Oh, do you?
He
You got-
does. Oh yeah.
Oh, I got one. I got mine.
That's what it needs to be. Hawaiian shirts, bourbon, and cigars.
Yeah, yeah, dude. I'm trying.
That's what That's the tradition.
we've talked about for the fans con or whatever, and I got whatchamacallit, Storanko. Keeps every time I see him, he's like, so we're gonna do that convention, that conservatives,
Oh shit.
Based con.
he's in.
Based con.
Base con. I like that. That's even better than for the fans.
Why
I
don't we
love it.
organize that? I think Steranko, man, what a national treasure.
Yeah, he's in. He's in.
Oh, yeah.
Garney's in. I got a couple of guys in that are all that want to do it.
What do we need to do to make it happen?
You got to find someone who's going to put it all together. It's a lot of
Yeah,
work.
you're gonna need a producer.
Yeah,
Well,
you
there
gotta
is
find
a
someone-
base
you're gonna need
con
someone
in
to finance
Michigan,
it.
but it's
Yeah.
for science fiction writers. And of course, there's the con in Chattanooga, Chris.
I was just thinking about that. I've done some huge events where like multiple rock bands all play together. Before I got into video and comic books, I used to do tour management, band management, and the recording industry. And I mean, we might could do something in Chattanooga. The Liberty Con is here in June.
That's right.
I'm
Have you
just
ever heard
saying.
of Chattanooga, Tennessee? It's the freaking jewel of the South, man.
Yeah, they're just going to have to fly people in. That's the thing. But
Well-
let me tell you, they're going to sell. They can have a room, maybe a dealer's room, and do it small. Have it in a hotel, right?
Yep.
Maybe one
Yep.
room's a dealer's room, so the
Yep.
dealers can help the promoter pay for all the, because you have to put guys up in hotels and gals and fly them in if they're far away. That's
Well,
just
what I do is I need to talk to the people who put on Liberty Con or Dragon Con, or there's another convention here, an anime convention. I know all the people that run them, and just say, what do we need to do something that's a based con, and it be authors, creators, and artists in the comic book, fiction, and graphic novel realm. What do we need to do? And do it a year from now or something.
Yeah, it would have to be a year because we've been. I mean, like I said, Ethan, we've been talking about it forever, and it's a lot of work. Our buddy Mitch puts on Terrificon.
Yep.
And, it's it's a full-time job.
Well, it's more than that. It's like, look at what you're doing, right? You're an artist, but you're also now doing fulfillment, production, ordering, shipping, fulfillment. I mean, that's a lot of freaking work.
Dude, I drew last week. I can show you what I drew. Scala's seen it. Little San Diego Comic Con. No, don't go big with it.
Oh, that's beautiful.
Little San Diego Comic Con.
Turtles.
Exclusive. No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
What?
What?
What was that?
What? No.
Is that Don Chin's hamsters? Or
Yes, that's what it is.
That's what it looked like. Maybe it was Cerebus. I couldn't
But
tell. Fast.
but that's what I did last week. I haven't drawn this week. I'm drawing my our September solicitations right now. I'm doing a little rough for a special edition.
Nice.
And I'm doing because now we're in comic shops, and again, I'm telling you, Mike Barron, think about this too. But we're doing September. The art is due for September books next week, and the ads, Nile. Just saying.
Well, what's happening in September?
Ads are
Is
due
there an
next
event?
week.
It's yeah. Next week, I need to do the ad.
Oh, geez. Let me get on that right now.
Wait a minute.
September?
It's for September release for the July previews.
Yeah.
Everyone does their Halloween stuff for the September release books, which is actually in the July previews because they're 2 months ahead.
We've already turned in the July preview stuff for Florida Man Hogzilla #1.
Yep. See, so I'm working on. I talked to Steve Lee from I gotta draw this cover. Can I get a week or so? And he's like, yeah. So
What I love to see is you guys like you and Mike back in comic shops.
Yeah.
I mean, this crowdfunding and self-publishing is great, but it's still a limited hangout. You know what I mean? It's still just sort of
extremely
this
limted
ecosystem.
Yep.
And there's people that walk into the comic shop and go, "Oh shit, I forgot about She." You know, they don't know you've got a YouTube channel.
On the website.
I was wearing a She shirt.
Thank you, my friend, for doing that.
Oh.
There's like some message boards and stuff about She's back in comics. People are like, that's great. I wonder where TUCCI'S been for the past 5 years, and I'm like, I've been streaming 4 times a week on YouTube.
I know where you've been.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah.
But
I wore a She shirt into a con and someone was like, are they still making that? And I'm like, yeah, they're doing it again. He's like, I didn't know. I'm like, yeah.
Yeah. The word will get out once it's back in stores.
It doesn't matter how many times you're doing these live streams. There are people that read comics that have never heard of Mr. Beast. You know, they don't care. And that guy's got 4 million subscribers.
Yep. And
It's
I guarantee
it's its own ecosystem.
Yep. And I guarantee there are people like, look at Ethan that's made millions, right?
Yeah.
On Indiegogo. I guarantee it that there are comic fans like who would pick up, his Green Lantern stuff. What happened to him?
Yeah,
You know,
exactly.
what-
If he
they
had
don't know
Cyberfrog in stores, it would
yeah,
be.
they have no idea about
Yeah.
CG. They have no idea about any of the controversies, what they did to him, all this stuff. They have
And
no
they don't
idea.
care.
The score stuff. I feel that, what do you say? Maybe 75% of the comics industry have no idea
Yep.
about him or anything.
Yeah.
You know why
so.
that part of the reason for that though, and let's be real, and I don't want to get into any drama, but part of the reason for that is you've got outlets like Polygon, The Beat, comicbook.com and stuff that don't talk about any of this shit.
That's
Yeah, no,
right.
And they won't. And they
And they
won't.
won't.
They won't.
They'll cover shit like The Beat will cover stuff like they'll do a highlight on crowdfunded books, right? And they'll be promoting these books, but these books are selling like $1,100
Right.
in 30 days. And it makes us who are busting our asses and are doing well at it, that, you know, that it makes us look bad because you're like, wait a minute, you know,
Yeah.
but why don't you do Nexus? Why don't you do someone like Vaughn Coleman, a new creator who's been doing this for he launched his book a few weeks ago. He's already he's already at
11,000.
Yeah, why don't they, and I know I'm going off tangent here, but like Newsday, my local newspaper on Long Island, that there's, I don't know, 3 million, 4 million people on Long Island. They had a thing about comic book artists on Long Island, right? And they're like how hard it is for them and how they're struggling and how bad the comics industry is and how they can't get work and how they're working in coffee shops. And I didn't know about this. John Romita Jr. calls me up, right? We're like, you've been doing this for 30 years. I've been doing this for almost 50 years, 40, 45 years. Why do they interview us? That we're able to raise our families, put our kids through college, put a roof over our head, pay our mortgages. Why not focus on the successful ones, the people that, so many comic creators, Marvel, DC artists, writers, they all lived on Long Island because, go right into the train, take the train into Manhattan.
Yep.
That would be a great segue to say that comics are, there still are comic creators that are doing good. And why are they doing good?
Well, I think they should just include it all. Include it all. You can include the smaller creators, but you should also say, but hey, some of the big success stories are Billy too, and on. JR is, you guys are fine examples of that. I think that's sort of what I wish The Beat and Polygon and Comic Book Resources and so on would do. I mean, there are websites that won't publish a story about Mike Barron because he's a Trump supporter. That's this.
Right.
And my thinking is, why can't it be more like wrestling where it's like, hey, we're going to talk about the heels. We're going to talk about the heroes. We're going to talk about everybody because we want to elevate the viewership of wrestling.
Yeah.
Well, why not talk about the Ethans and the Alex DeCampis if you want? I mean, I wouldn't, but but talk about all of them.
Well, they don't want people to talk about Alex DeCampi because if it gets out about her, forget it. Of just what a.
But you hear what I'm saying. I'm just using some extremes there.
Yeah,
not to really say that Ethan's an extreme on the other end, but they don't talk about him. The guy's done $2 million in sales. They're not talking about Eric July. He's done $3 or $4 million in sales.
Brian Polito's got to make $7 million in the past 10 years that he's been doing this.
Oh, he's at
Lady Death. Yeah.
I tallied him. He's I think since he started crowdfunding, he's almost to 15 million.
$15 million. That doesn't include that's just his Kickstarters. Then you look at his website sales.
Kudos to him.
Is that Benny, Nile? That's his son. He's got.
But I think that they should be talking about all of this. They should be talking about and promoting all of it because to me it makes it feel more thriving rather than some sort of little niche exclusive club.
Yeah.
I don't need to know about the next Jordy Belair colored work or whatever, but I'm okay with keeping, Billy Tucci or Mike Barron or Ethan Van Sciver in the same sentence as Evan Doc Shaner or whoever, that they will talk about.
Well, the thing is that they love controversy unless it doesn't align with their views.
So,
I mean, Ed Piskor literally named the people by name that forced him to kill himself.
Yeah.
And they don't want to cover that.
No.
Nope.
That if it was Chris Brawley got in a fight with this guy, whatever, and said, you know what, go fucking kill yourself, Charlie Smith. You'd be front page splash news, Chris.
I don't think they would. You know, I've had some engagement with Rich Johnston, who is the inspiration of Bleeding Fool, and I don't really know what his angle is. I'll talk about Alex DeCampi, and of course, so will he. But I'll talk about Mike Barron, and he'll only do it begrudgingly when Antarctic Press is putting out a solicit for Thin Blue Line.
You know what? He follows me on Twitter too.
Oh yeah, well he
follows all of us.
I think he follows me too.
He follows everyone.
I don't know if he follows me.
It's the censorship. You know what I mean? It's a censorship of people who I
Get in
don't
that club,
agree
Vaughn.
with. And I understand
Yeah,
that
really-
if you're
really
shopping, you want to boycott somebody, but it's still news.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's crazy. It's just crazy. And
Thank
it's
God for
infuriating.
people
But
like
you know what?
JC, you know, Vaughn, Jeffrey Vaughn, who is, you know, he may not necessarily align with my my viewpoints on things, but man, he's just good people, you know?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Good people. We need more good people with integrity.
Or real journalists. How about that? How about trying some real journalism instead of being a cheerleader?
Thank you.
Real journalism, and you know, you're speaking of JC, you know, also just an eye for talent. You know, he likes to spotlight talent.
Yes.
You know, he doesn't care about the personal opinions or things of any. Hey, if you're a hell of a good artist, he wants you on a cover of Overstreet. You know,
JC had for the Overstreet Price Guide to Comics, he had Ethan Van Sciver do one cover and Howard Chaykin do the other on the same year, the same issue.
And that's controversy.
Yeah.
But he's
it is,
talent.
and they're on the opposite ends of it, to be honest.
But he doesn't care. He wants what's good. But again, getting back to Polito, Brian Polito, unless he buys an ad, I don't even know how you can even do that. He doesn't get covered by Newsarama. For how much did he make, Nile? How much has he made in the past 10
He's made
years?
close to 15 million.
$15 million.
If not over 15 million in the past 12 years of crowdfunding. And he's but you know, he doesn't need it. He just shows you a prime example of build your fan base, build your universe, bring your fans into your world. They're not just sitting in a brick and mortar and he's just, here's a new book. You know, he throws huge conventions dedicated just to his character and to his fans.
Yeah.
We're gonna have him on next week. He's got a Lady Death video game that's now going to be on PlayStation 5, Xbox.
Oh my goodness.
Nintendo
Switch.
Wow.
I mean,
he's a boss.
He's investing in his fans. He's listening to what they want. He doesn't care what anyone else says. I mean, the guy beats to his own drum. You know, he doesn't get mixed up in any drama, nothing. He's about having a good time. He is a model example, I think, for independent creators to try to build their empire. But granted, someone might not want to build it to his level. You know, he's also a showman. You know,
Yes,
he's also got 10. Yeah, he's got 10 people working for him full time. He's got a lot of people depend upon him. But he's a true ambassador for the industry.
Yeah,
we need more of those. We need
we
more
do.
of those. You know, I look at what you're doing, Billy. I look at what a lot of the guys, especially in the CG orbit, are doing. Even Mike, I don't think Mike's ever been as busy with projects. You know, he's putting out a new campaign every 3 or 4 months with something, and I love it. But we just have to toot our own horns.
Yeah.
We can't rely on Newsarama or whatever. I remember we did a press release about Private American, and I think it was Games Radar. That's the people that own the old Newsarama. They only wanted to talk about the controversy. They only wanted to say, oh, you got to prove it. You need to prove to us that there were publishers that said hateful things about Thin Blue Line.
Oh, would you like to see the headline?
Yeah, no, all they have to do is Google it.
Yeah, I mean, it's out there. But what I mean is it's adversarial rather than let's just talk about whatever your angle is. You know, we don't need to take sides. And I don't mind a little bit of favoritism. I really don't. I mean, if you're a fan of Polito, or you're a fan of Cerebus, or you're a fan of She or Mike Barron's Florida Man, and you want to kind of add a few more adjectives and make sure you include all the right links, that's cool. But you should also talk about the other stuff that's going on and regurgitate a few press releases or whatever, because that's what's going on in the industry. Just keep it all kind of as even heeled as you can, but don't leave a lot of scraps on the table. That's kind of like what we do at Bleeding Fool. Every Wednesday, we try to promote indie crowdfund. And when I say indie, I mean everybody from somebody like Vaughn Coleman, who's currently running on Fund My Comic, to Andy Smith, whose Core Draft is doing, Gangbusters, his sequel to Core Draft. We've covered we cover if it's crowdfunding by the creator and they want to submit the responses to the questions, we promote it.
Oh, yeah, I got to do that still. I keep forgetting.
Come on, Vaughn.
Yeah, get on that, Vaughn.
When does your campaign end,
Vaughn, you're doing a pretty good job.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's got
PHENOMENOVA.
4 days to go.
4 days, Vaughn. What have you done?
Well, 4 days, and then it's gonna, because I messed up, so I did raise mode, so it's gonna go away after it ends after these 4 days. For 5 days, it's gonna be like blank. Everyone's gonna get charged, and then it's gonna go back to all or nothing and basically be more of a storefront.
Oh, good.
Until I'm ready to ship. So it is gonna go, but I wanted to do something special for these days. So there was a day one exclusive free trading card, and I brought it back for $5 until this closes out, and then it's gone again. But yeah, I was like, you know what, why not? If people want it, go ahead and get it now. But yeah, I mean, it's been great, man. The first time I met Billy, I was telling him about this idea. I've had this for a long time, and seeing it doing as well as it has been really good. And it's not a surprise to say the comic book industry needs, more IPs. And I think even with superheroes, they've become so, in a weird way, a weird mix of oversaturated and diluted. And what I mean by that is like all of the crossover and stuff like that is dialed up. But then also I feel like a lot of the great heroism aspects have been downplayed in favor of almost like deconstruction. And so I kind of wanted to harken back. I always say this is more of a reconstruction, an age of deconstruction. Yeah, it's been a blast working on this book. I can't wait to do more. I do have another cover I will also be launching on Kickstarter. But I wanted to do it on Fund My Comic because I like. Well, thanks, Billy.
I don't know where it's at. I think it's
all right. Well, Billy did give me a good quote for this project, so. But yeah, it's been a pleasure doing this, man, and seeing all the support I've been getting. It's always something special, and yeah, I'm really
you should be very proud. You should be very proud. Is this your first campaign?
Yeah.
Golly, dude, that's huge.
So, I mean, most people don't break, $3,000. I think it's amazing what Vaughn has done.
What do you attribute it to, Vaughn? What are you doing to get your name out there, and how did you get this out there?
Vaughn is very personable.
Yeah, I think that's one of the things is I reach out. A lot of artist types are very shy and whatever, and I have my moments for sure. But I was always making connections in person. I started by meeting Billy in person. In-person connections are good, and then online connections. If Mike, for example, like we talk. I think going on as many shows as we can, promoting a lot, really networking with people. Making sure you're treating everyone well is good too. You want, and look, with how many people there are in the world, there will always be people that don't get along, but I generally get along with most people. They get along with me. I promote when I can. I try and keep my show entertaining. I try and stay focused on the art form. And keeping an art form alive that's dying, and it's sad. It's really sad. You look, and it's not even a matter of like opinion, because you look at people my age. I mean, go to a comic convention. Almost nobody my age is walking the con floor. They're walking upstairs. They're meeting the celebrities. They're going to the booths to get like toys and stuff, which is what I did the first time. I went to a con, but they're not really appreciating the art form. And so I kind of wanted to reawaken that. And it is tough. It is tough getting young blood interested. And I think that the comic book industry needs, and listen, far be it from me to save the comic book industry. I've just barely, it's like I got to make the comic first, that's step one. But I think that writing has taken a back seat oftentimes. Good writing, I should say. And I think, but yeah, I mean, what I realize is that when I was writing, I was like, oh, I'll hire an artist and then the book could do really well. No, basically you're your entire marketing team. You don't realize that that is what most of your effort goes into, is production and marketing. You know, I was writing earlier today for the first time in a long time, because most of what I'm doing is production related. And I'm hoping that as that moves along more swiftly and as more money comes in, I could kind of get to writing more often. But I mean, I guess it's always about creating and tapping in and just being passionate and talking about stuff that gives you energy is really what it's about.
Yeah, no, I agree with that. I agree that, you know, it is trying to tap a new generation in, you know, but I think the thing is, you know, the new generation needs to see that there's more beyond Spider-Man, Batman, Superman, X-Men, that there's a lot more stories that have so much more depth to these characters. And that's where I think
Vaughn's interview is up on the Baron Earls show. We just interviewed Vaughn last week.
Yeah,
Vaughn, you should be real proud of yourself for what you've done here and raising the money. You just got to follow through, make sure you fulfill quality.
I'm proud of him.
Oh yeah, thank you.
Although I had nothing to do with it, I am proud of him.
Well, you did. You helped. You gave me good feedback, Mike. Actually, I would reach out to Mike.
That's good.
We're all proud
guys,
of
I got to bow out now because I have to get up at 4 a.m. and shovel coal.
Oh, wow.
That's right.
He's got to clean out his. He's got to clean out his ash can.
Yeah, love you, pal. Sorry, I was late. Sorry.
Thank you for having me on.
Oh, thanks for coming, Mike.
God bless. I love you all.
Love you. See you on the
Have a
Kings,
good
bro.
night.
Back Nexus,
Mike.
Back
Talk to you tomorrow, Mike.
Yeah.
And Mike's good
thank
people.
God he
No,
was
Mike
gone.
did help me.
What a
gosh. Oh,
Yeah, I mean, one of the things that I would say is you got to sell the product before you sell the product. And like I said, the first time I met Billy, I was advertising this book. Before it had a different title when I was advertising this book. You know, the reason it opened to 3,000 backers on day one and had over 500 signups was because I was advertising it for months. I had a landing page. People got to learn about it. People got to hear about it. And so it became an event. And now even still, it's like still kind of like the book's not out yet. And I know a lot of people are like, I can just tell they're not going to understand the crowdfunding thing. That's a battle in itself. Explaining that to people is a battle in itself. And so I'm going to have a website and try and make it as easy as possible for people. And like I said, getting in stores is going to be key. But just trying to get it in as many hands and as many eyes as possible. And there are people that say like, oh, you should really just focus on comic book fans. It's like, dude, how do you think people become comic book fans? They have to not be one at first, right? Like I got into through the movies and stuff. And eventually I sought out the comics. I have like a lot of my friends who've never read comics. And who knows, they might like mine and then go, who are these other people you have on your channel, Vaughn? Maybe I should back some of them. You know, you gotta... It's always just getting as many eyes on stuff as you can, and I think that's part of it.
Yeah. Well, let's play your campaign video for anyone that hasn't seen it yet.
Let's do it up.
Yeah, Dark Gift Comics edited my trailer, or he re-edited my trailer. Look at that.
Why is it blurry? Oh, there we go.
Oh, who said that? When the whole world was dragged into World War III, brave men like my father fought on the front lines, and they weren't alone. That was 20 years ago. Now it's up to us to carry on their legacy. And every so often, the earth from which we come gives way for something new, something greater to be born. And with them, even greater threats to face. Bring it on! PHENOMENOVA.
Looks great, kid.
Thank you. Yeah.
Yeah, we're all proud of you, buddy. We are.
Yeah,
Thank you. Yeah, man. It's been a long journey, but you know, when I look at what I've accomplished objectively, I'm like, I guess I did, because I found the note when I was I'm very messy, and I found a notepad from 2022 that was like, yeah, have issues 1 through 5 released this year, and I'm like, that was never going to happen.
A lot of work, man.
Yeah.
A lot of work, as you've learned.
Are you writing it and drawing it, or just writing it?
Oh God, I'm just writing it. I'm revising. Actually, I'm so glad I went back to issue 2. I think most of the issues I wrote back then are solid. But issue 2, I was like 1 page in, and I'm like, I'm a much better writer today than I was. There was some good stuff. I'm like, oh, that's a good line. But then there's some pages where I'm like, oh my God, why am I droning on for so long? But, you know, I've improved so much. And I think also there was a certain point I rewrote this so many times. And at one point I had my artist picked out, but I was like, dude, my script isn't worthy of his talents. I got to do it again. And I kept going. And then finally I had like a mental break where I was like, okay, enough. This is not going to be my best work, right? It's not going to be, it just can't. If it is my best work, my first issue is my best work, that is a problem. That is a big problem. But I knew I was going to be the best work that I'm capable of doing at this time. And I wanted it to be, you'll never get a second first impression. And I wanted it to be a strong one. So I wanted to go all out. And so I did. And that art that everyone loves, that double page spread of the fire, which my artist went way above and beyond what I had pictured. That is going to be a mini print at 15K raised.
Nice.
So we're on that path.
Nice. Yeah, beautiful. It's great
Now,
art. Who's your artist?
His name is Philip Cruz, and then my colorist is Jesse Hagee. We are, and someone asked in chat, by the way, because I pay attention to what people want. And I initially was going to have it fully done when I launched, but I decided, like, because I'm going to be campaigning for around 2 months. We're close enough at the rate we're going where it'll be done probably by the time I'm done with this and the Kickstarter. So we have 56 pages inked, 45 colored, 10 have been lettered. I'm adding an issue number box that my buddy Bobby did for the front covers, because I can't believe I spent so much time at the covers perfecting them, and then I'm like, dude, I didn't put the issue number there. I was like, how did I forget that? I couldn't believe it, and so I'm adding that. There's a mini print, so everyone who backs, because I wanted crowdfunders to get something special. So all the variants are campaign exclusive. You know, once it's on my website or in stores or whatever, you won't be able to get these covers. But the mini print also, everyone who backs this book gets that free mini print of my main villain. That was my buddy Zach, who was just talking to the other day. And Nick Capone, who did Purity, colored it. Mm-hmm. So Zach did the pencils and inks, and then Nick Capone colored it. And so that is our main villain, Dark Cloud.
That's awesome.
You got old Zach and Bobby working on it, huh?
Nice.
And Jules, actually.
And so, Jules. Look at that.
Yeah, so Jules did one cover and the trading card. So all 4 of us working on this book, which is great. You know, I got so many people. Somehow finding PHENOMENOVA to be legible my logo designer made that easy. Because we wanted to make a complicated word look really, you could read it right away. And it's funny, people always are like, what is it? I can't really say it. And then it's like, but then they say it right on the first try. And I'm like, aha, you're just messing with me. It was really, that's probably the most controversial decision I ever made, was naming it PHENOMENOVA. I got that day after I got both messages saying, I love it. This is so much better. And dude, this name sucks. Please change it.
What was your Ordinary Heroes?
No. It was, well, originally, so when I was in 2nd grade, it came up the idea it was Lightning Lad, which I was devastated to find out was taken 50 years ago. And then it was
Lightning Lad.
Lightning Lad.
Lightning Lad.
And then it was the Vortex. Character? It was Legion of Superheroes. And then it was, last one was Living Legends, and that was too common. But Living Legends was like to the point where I made prints of it that I was giving out at Tampa. So if they still have it,
that's a good.
It's a great title. It was hard to follow up.
Why didn't you go with it?
Legal reasons. There was someone who no, but it's someone who's very sue happy that I didn't want to deal with. Like, here's the thing. I was like, yeah, I could probably win the case, but it was like, I don't want to even just deal with like the idea of, I'd rather just. And then I went into like this manic state to come up with a name, because you can't follow up Living Legends easily. And I was like, well, what are superheroes? I wrote down a bunch of words, and then Phenomenon was one of them, and then Nova. And then I just kind of mashed them together, and I was like, that works. And then that night I went to bed, and I was like, actually, that sucks. And then the morning I woke up, and I was like, oh, that's good again. And a few days I went through that, and I'm like, you know what? No, I'm just doing it. And mixed reception. the character's name, the main character's superhero name, I did decide on Galvanite. Was the name I decided on. I remember I had Lord Lightning at one point.
That's a cool name.
And I brought it up on Rainey's stream, and the whole panel laughed at me. And so I was like, I guess I got to change Lord Lightning. No one likes that name. So there is a reference in the book where he has rejected superhero names, and you see Lord Lightning crossed out as a reference to that.
That's good. I like that.
But yeah.
So when's this going to get into the hands of backers? When do you actually
as soon as I can. Now, I don't want to, like, I think one of the mistakes people make is they promise too much, but I'm hoping to get it in people's hands this summer in August. I put September 1st for the date. We'll see. I'm hoping to get it in people's hands by August, but I'm not going to rush past quality. But judging, I would do a timeline. And if it's taking a little longer, but I think I could get it in people's hands in August. Hopefully July, but July is like, I'd be lucky. I'd love it to have a copy by my birthday, which is late July. That's what I'm going for.
Book. You're going to have a 68-page book done by July, do you think?
Well, it's mostly done.
Nice, Vaughn Coleman.
Yeah. Because I know, listen, I pay attention to what people want. People are sick of waiting very long, especially for my first book. My whole thing is as soon as I'm done with this, I want to roll into starting production on issue 2 as soon as I can. And I think
PHENOMENOVA 2, Electric Boogaloo.
It's actually, I'll say that the name of the issue is Down to the Core, and then 3 is going to be Chain Reaction.
Okay.
All right.
So.
I just backed it, Vaughn.
Oh, thank you.
Yes, sir.
When are you bringing this to Kickstarter?
I'm not sure. As soon as, and this is the next point. So one of the things I will change is that I will have, so there isn't everything and 5 of everything. I'm going to have to just specify that they're not going to include the next cover that's going to be added. Because apparently you don't need exclusives for Kickstarter anymore, at least when I was looking at the rules. I don't know if that's
what
true.
Somebody told me.
Yeah, so because I was talking to you, and then I was looking at the page, and I was like, I guess not. So when Buzz does his cover, is still when I'm going to launch my Kickstarter. So I haven't announced that yesterday.
You probably should do your Kickstarter when the book's done, when all the art's done.
Yeah,
and then you could say this book is done.
Yeah,
we just need your help. We need your help to print it and get it printed, and we'll get it right to you.
The book's ready to go. I just need money for printing.
But yeah, Buzz is doing the last cover.
Nice.
So he sent me the layout. Very happy with it.
Can he share it? Can he show it?
You know what? Yeah.
Do
For you.
Do it.
For you, Bill.
We'll do it quick. I'm
not sleeping and I got to wash clothes. So come on. Let's.
No, I'm kidding. That's for me as well. I did send him the link, but he didn't think he said he could if he wanted, or if he was able, he would have, but that he was busy. All right. This is just a very rough thumbnail.
Yeah, well, Buzz's rough thumbnails are like most people's finished covers.
I know. That's why all right, ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's literally just,
bro, that is tits. Look at that.
I know. That's literally just here's a little something. He goes, I have an idea, because I had an idea of my own. I go, you know what? I'm going to hear what Buzz came up with. And I was like, that's so much cooler than what I was thinking. Don't even. Wow. Like that's,
now, will
nuts.
we see in PHENOMENOVA 2, will the young Lord Lightning, will he have relations with maybe a sweetheart or something? Will he fall in love?
So you want it to be a romance book?
Well, no, add a little role. He doesn't have the romance.
Just a little character development.
Well, so PHENOMENOVA is the name of the team he will be joining. And so there's going to be team members. You're going to meet 2 of them, you're going to meet one member of the team and then one of the people that's training him. There will be some hot chicks in issue 2. Let's put it that way. There will be, because that was a distinct lack of it. The fact that I made 11K, because that's apparently one of the rules if you want to make money in crowdfunding, is that, especially on Kickstarter.
Definitely Kickstarter.
I do have books for that. But as I was rewriting issue 2, I was like, wait a minute, there are scenes where these women are talking to him, and they'll probably, all right, I'll just advertise. I'll emphasize that more in the advertising. But issue 2, you're going to meet some members, and then you're going to get the full team introduced in issue 3. And so there's a love interest character for him, but I'm not going to spoil. You're going to have to find out for yourself. But there's some potential love interest characters. Yeah, he's but he also, I focus on the story first, and whatever that comes up, it comes up. But he's right now got so much on his plate as a character, but he also is a teenage boy, so he's definitely his eyes are open. But you'll have to see.
It's always time for chicks. Always time
right.
for chicks.
Always.
Hey, Billy, that reminds me. I want to ask you a question about she. It only dawned on me tonight when I was talking to my wife over dinner, because I said I was going to be on this show. She said, "Who's that?" And of course, we started talking about she, and she said, "She, you mean like her?" And I'm like, "No, but you know what? I don't know how Billy came up with the name, but my God, that's like the quintessential feminine entity."
Dude, I was into, man, I had pronouns before pronouns was even a thing.
Yes.
I made that joke one of the first times. The second time I met Billy, I said, "Oh, she, you should make she her." And then he just everyone else in the group laughed except for Billy. He was like insulted that I would say that.
Yeah,
about
like
she.
I've never heard that. I've never
You
heard
have heard that.
He's
Then.
like,
That's not
so
something
so original.
Okay.
Well, probably because you heard it from me 5 times before that.
Is she her given name, or is
No,
that
her name is Anna Ishikawa. She means death in Japanese.
That's what I thought. Okay.
So she got it from the man that she is charged. She's basically drafted into this shadow war that's existed for 500 years, and her primary target is a former assassin who would leave the she coin with all of his victims.
Mhm.
So, and then when
I read it, I'm just looking at that awesome art.
and then she takes the coin up, so death is hunting him.
Okay.
All
right. I gotta reread it.
Arashi.
I gotta go back.
Masahiro Akashi. Right, Vaughn?
Yeah, Akashi. Yeah, I'm a real she fan, and I noticed that, and I was like, but yeah, my she omnibus. I have so many signatures in here.
Nice.
I have.
Look at you.
You were with me. I've been getting everyone to sign this. We got Jimmy, and then Silvestri drew through Jimmy's remark.
Look at
Of course he did.
JC Vaughn, Chris Claremont, Debbie, Mark Maz.
Oh, you got Debbie to sign it
Buzz.
with Debbie's signature.
Yeah.
Oh, look at that.
That's
Debbie right there.
Buzz, I think, or one of these is hers.
It could be. It looks like
Buzz.
Debbie.
You don't know your wife's signature?
Dude.
She
Rodney
writes the checks, but
Ramos.
not to him. Yeah.
When Debbie had a job, she was like, "You have no idea what I do." I'm like, "No, I don't."
Did JC publish or edit this?
Yes.
He edited it.
Okay.
You gotta get Old Cap to sign it at Heroes. Old Cap, Jason Odom, he's also an editor on the book. You gotta get Nile Scala to sign that, the designer. Oh, you did?
Yeah. Right, Nile, you signed it, I hope.
Niall,
Yeah,
what
right
did
there.
you do on it?
I signed it. Just some design work.
No, he did.
I was going to say, I'll sign it if you'll bring it to the next con.
Yeah, I'll get you to sign my CG Vacations. Those ones are, the remarks I've been getting on those are crazy. I've been getting everyone to sign my CG Vacations. It's nuts.
Nice.
Yeah, I know Mike answered this gentleman's question in the chat, but I do want to say thank you to H's for Heretic for the $5 super chat. Appreciate that.
Oh, I can say something about that.
Yeah,
Another thing that Dark Horse did with Mike, which I've got them all. We've got all the print files. So if this Capital Comics hardcover that gets recolored does well, I told Mike, I said, Dark Horse did a string of hardcover collected editions that would collect 8 to 10 issues. I said, man, if we could, maybe we do an omnibus that splits the whole 80 issue run into 2 different volumes. There are so many Nexus fans out there. It's just, it's just getting the word out. You know what I mean, Billy? It's like anything else. You were just talking about it earlier. You've been doing this YouTube channel for 4 years, but you got people that love your work that don't know. 5 years, okay. Yeah, they don't even know what you're doing. It's like, oh yeah, I remember Billy Tucci. What's he doing these days?
Yeah,
he's working his ass off.
Yeah, Don Simpson posted that. Who's a comics creator, and Don had Megaton Man, and he posted a picture.
Yes, he just did the very good Ed Piskor
yes,
thing.
he
didn't
did.
he?
Yeah.
Oh, did he? Oh, I didn't see that. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, you got to see that.
He was close with Ed.
Yeah, he's a Pittsburgh guy, so he
It's beautiful.
He posted, like last year, he posted a picture of me from like San Diego '95, and he goes, "Whatever happened to Billy Tucci?" I'm like, what?
But you're working as hard as you've ever worked right now.
Yeah, we've had the best 3 years that we've had.
Oh, he knows what you're up to. That guy likes to give you a hard time.
Okay, he's breaking
I don't
your
know.
balls.
I don't know. He's like, whatever happened to Billy? I'm like, wait a minute.
Whatever happened to Billy Tucci?
Oh my God.
Gucci.
Shit.
Well, all these campaigns, everyone, they're in the description below. So if you're watching this recorded, please go look in the show description. All the links for the campaigns are there. If you are watching this live, then you can check in the live chat. Our lovely mods have been posting up all the campaigns into there. It's also the link for the She #1 30th Anniversary Original Art Edition in the live chat. So check that out. Very cool, man.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you guys. Vaughn,
Thank you guys for backing.
Yeah, Vaughn, if you close in 4 days, is that Sunday night or Monday?
Sunday.
I'll be in Michigan.
It bleeds into, I don't know what I'm doing for my closeout. Because here's the thing, it's going to reopen in 5 days, but I could be dramatic about it.
Then you have
I would be dramatic about it.
I know. I'm just trying to figure out what to
cover in 5 days. If Buzz can get that done, you could just add another.
Oh, I don't think that's happening. It'll be there when it reopens, but I don't think
I was going to say when you reopen, you need to have that.
Yeah.
Yes.
I don't think it'll be there right away. Listen, in a perfect world, I'm right along with you, but yeah, I don't know. It'll happen, I guess, when it happens.
Billy, I'm going to try to come. I may try to come one night to Heroes Con, but I'm going to want to pick your brain. Will Debbie be there? Deborah be there?
Debbie will not be there. My son Matthew. It's the last week of school and his prom. His girlfriend's coming in from out of town, so and her parents. So Debbie's going to be, hosting them for the.
You know, if JC's going to this, he's not.
No, he's not. Nope.
Okay, I'll pick your brain then.
Yeah, definitely. And we'll sit. Yeah, we'll go in Saturday night. We're going to do. You got a Hawaiian shirt. We're going to do the Hawaiian shirt and cigar night.
This 15th. Yep.
Sounds good. We're going to have a real good time.
Nice. All right, everyone. Well, thanks for tuning in tonight. We'll see you guys next week. We're going to have Brian Pleto on next week, checking out the Lady Death video game.
Oh, that'll be a big show.
Yeah. Thanks, everybody.
All right, have a good one.
Thank you. Have a good one.
Hey, everyone. Thank you for joining us on Pop Thank you for joining us on. If you haven't already, make sure to click that subscribe button and also click the bell for notifications when we go live and we upload some awesome new content. Also, don't forget to head on over to Twitter and follow us at ThePopXP. And over on Instagram at ThePopXP. Thanks again, everyone, and we'll see you soon.